everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4, Take 1 of Confessions of an Average Golfer by the Lazy Lobbers. I'm SJ.
I'm OP.
I'm SL.
And we are... It's gone everywhere. The Lazy Lobbers. So, just to start us off for this week, I miss golf. I'm really missing golf.
Yeah. I agree.
It's kind of the first week I've thought... the weather's been a little nicer, hasn't it? And I just thought, what I'd give to be out on the course.
I was going to say, I you might have seen it on the most recent reel on Instagram, but I got full dressed up in golf gear, including shoes. And I stayed in it for at least an hour afterwards because it just felt so good. Like I haven't these brand new shoes, haven't worn them on the golf course. It's really sad. And I just wore all gear that I could. And it was quite sad, actually.
After we film this podcast, I always have to go to Tesco or something, other supermarkets available, and I just go in my half zip with my cap on, like the ultimate dad, just wearing golf gear now.
Do you actually?
Yeah, just to kind of feel a bit more golf-like.
I saw Rick Shields this week doing the walking. You've seen it, he's just walking with his clubs. It's quite a cool concept, really. That's what made me miss golf, is the sound of the clubs going.
Yeah. Sorry, just to be clear, you know exactly what I'm going to say. Last time we could play golf, you said, I think I might get iron covers because my clubs are just rattling around too much.
Yeah, I didn't say I didn't like the sound. I love the sound. It's like iconic, isn't it? It's more the damage that it does. And then we went on to the argument that you were like, it doesn't damage clubs. So the same material can't dent the same other material, and which is just completely false.
We got into the laws of hardness, that's for sure.
It was just so wrong.
Yeah, I confess that my science wasn't totally accurate, and materials of the same hardness can damage one another. You know,
physics teachers
informative on many levels. The Lazy Lobbers. Well, look, whilst we're sipping away, before we start, we should just do our normal shout out to our sponsors. Berksy Drinks, discount code Lazy Lobbers still active at the checkout, get you 20% off. So be sure to check them out. I actually need to order a new crate.
I was going to say, I got SL donated me a passion fruit and turmeric, which is their new flavour. Had the first one last night. I've gone straight into it today because that is gone straight to the top of my list of favourites.
Yeah, and this probably sounds like we're doing a bit of a tab each week on Bertsy's. Another double dozen last night.
A double dozen.
Honestly, I can't get enough of them.
A dirty double dozen.
Yeah. So anyway, they're brilliant.
We need to talk golf at some point. But last night I had a few glasses of vino, and then I've got a full addiction to Married at First Sight Australia. Now that's probably gonna.
You're the second person to tell me that. Someone else said to me yesterday, work colleague. Is it good?
It's out of hand. It's totally out of hand. I don't even start it because. I must be on episode 22 or something, and the announcer just went, we're now halfway through the experiment. And I was like, halfway through on episode 22? What's a 40-episode series?
That's amazing.
Round up for the week, shall we? Should we just do a little, things that have happened? I think that there is one big milestone that we should just announce. So we hit 200 followers this week. So thanks to everyone that helped support that on Instagram. We did promise a shout out to our 200th follower. So... Lizzie Connolly, thank you for the follow.
It's a good milestone. I agree. 200.
Yeah, it was really good. That really, really good. And look, the only way's up, I think, from here. A few other things then. So www.lazylobbers.com, now live.
Officially live.
And
again, taking a bit of time, but we've got there.
Massive shout out to the guys at WeStartAny.biz for our £1 website. So be sure to go and have a look. On there, we've got all our YouTube vids, links to all of our latest episodes. We've also got quite a few blogs now. I think we're up to 4 or 5. So OP and I have been taken to the laptop and just hammering out a few articles which we think will be of interest to people. And I would be keen to know, actually, maybe we'll have to do a little poll on the Instagram, is if people actually really care, if they want to read a blog, or is that just it's a bit too much? It's quite cathartic writing it, though, to be fair.
I was going to say, I've never been into sort of writing general blogs, and actually every time I've written one, I've actually got into it and enjoyed it. So SL, you can get involved if you want.
Yeah, no, I'm still learning to read and write, so it's just night school at the minute. for me. But yeah, one day.
You had a good lesson on the movie editing the other day. How did that?
Oh
video,
yeah,
how did the
that was
video go?
good. Oh, well, yeah, it was 26 minutes long at the start.
What's it a video of? Tell everyone. Pray do tell.
So as promised, I started to re-grip the clubs over, last night. Was it last night or the night before? In hindsight, it's not worth it. I'll tell everyone right now. Don't do it. Don't, wait until the clubs reopen, pay the whatever fee they charge, because it's hella worth it.
Why is it not worth it?
It's just so many points of failure that throughout the journey. It's
What do they charge at the club? I think, is it like, so it's £9 for the actual grip or something, and then it's what, £3 or £4? £3 to get. So basically £3 you saved yourself. And how long do you reckon it took you? Start to finish?
A long time. I reckon at least 40 minutes, and that's just one club.
It's 40 minutes for one club.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite possibly.
The thing that I found, so obviously for those people that are kind of finger on the pulse, I watched you do your video, SJ, and you do your regripping, which was really painful to watch. And well, yeah, that's another story, isn't it? But anyway, the first part of the video, I was like, fucking hell, this is going so swiftly in comparison to you. Like taking the grip off.
Yeah.
I just put the Stanley knife in, and it just went all the way up and it came off. And I was like, wow, that's so easy. And it kind of surprised me. I was like, how has the grip, stayed on this whole time?
Yeah.
And then even
your swing speed's about 4 miles an hour. not much velocity to take it off.
But then the double-sided sticky tape as well. Again, just a knife. And there was a couple of strips, but it just peeled off. Was it steel shelf, was it? Yeah. Yeah, I put it down to being a slightly newer club than 3 up, but still super easy. I mean, the bit I struggled with, candidly, is putting the grip on. I just completely. I won't ruin the video because I've spent 3 hours of my Friday work day editing it.
So it's 40 minutes to regrip the club, 3 hours to edit the video afterwards.
Yeah, it honestly took me. I spent the whole early morning yesterday doing it, and it's. Yeah, not again. Okay.
Do you know what? So when we first kind of stumbled across this whole concept of re-gripping your club, I watched the YouTube videos, thought it looked pretty easy, and I bought into it because I thought, you can go and get the grips at a cost price or close to, because you can just buy them in bulk yourself, so you don't pay like the kind of the club shop premium. And then I thought, actually, also, they kind of charge you quite a bit for basically sliding a piece of rubber off, sliding another piece of rubber on. Upon reflection, I'm not sure that I would regrip a whole set of irons, actually, because I had quite a challenge, to be honest. And I hate admitting that I'm wrong and that Sam is right, but I think he might be right.
So, given what I've just said, complete hypocrite, I then, the next day, took all the grips off my irons. So I'm now in a position where effectively I'm halfway, so I'm doing these as well.
What's quite if you suddenly get to the point when the golf clubs open, and let's say there's like a 5-day wait to get them regripped, you have got a lot of regripping to do, or you're playing with literally the shafts as your grip.
Which is so weird. I'd never held a club without a grip.
Could you imagine?
How weird is it?
Imagine doing a round with all your clubs gripped.
No, and actually, what I would say, because I was just thinking about it there, I think I'd probably be being overly critical about the regripping process. I actually did find it really quite a fun thing to do, up until the point of where I failed dismally. Well, and now I know what I did wrong. I would happily do them again. So I'm going to try these again and just see how I get on.
Just in case people don't catch the video, the bit I failed with was the first time was actually putting the grip on. So I went to put the grip on, and in all the YouTube tutorials, it just goes, slips all the way down the shaft and lines up nice in place. I was like this, ready, get halfway down where the grip should be, slippy as it comes. And all of a sudden it was like, just stuck on, halfway on. I had this floppy end piece of grip, and I just was in pieces. And then I had to it was horrible trying to peel it off and put it on again. And, but yeah.
I think that's,
that's good.
One thing that we're definitely going to try and do is almost, bring back the the amateur golf garage and just lads like us trying to do things like regripping and showing people how it actually is done, rather than these YouTube videos that make it look so easy doing anything like that. So it's quite a good little watch.
The last thing I think then in the sort of things that happened this week for me was that we were actually approached by Golf Holidays Direct, and they asked if we would have them as our lead travel sponsor. So, the finer details still to be determined, but we're hugely excited at the opportunity, and can't wait to come back to you with more on that next week.
I was going to say that when we had that call, when you had the news, I've never been so excited.
Wish I'd filmed it. Wish I'd filmed it. Chris from Golf Holidays Direct, he kind of messaged me and said, "Oh, have you spoke to the other lobbers about how they feel about the opportunity?" And I just said, "Wish that I'd screen recorded the Zoom call, because you were both going absolutely mad for it. Understandably, I was chuffed."
So Sam phoned me before. Well, he phoned all of us, and Ollie didn't pick up as usual. But we were waiting, and I was like, "What's the news then? What was the chat?" And SJ just went, "It's nothing. It's nothing to write home about. Hey, don't worry." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine. Well, I'll wait for Ollie then." And and then you phoned us back about 5 minutes later and told us, and my jaw just hit the floor. I thought total bullshit.
It was the same face that you put when you find a TaylorMade TPA5X pics in the trees.
But you'd been pestering SJ all day, pretty much every hour, being like, "How did the call go? How did the call go? How did the call go?" So I wasn't expecting any different, to be honest.
Yeah, Sam, I'm going to call him early evening, 1 p.m. He messages me, "Have you phoned him yet?" Since when was 1 p.m. early evening? But anyway.
Do you know, this week, I don't even know what days it's been. I thought it was Thursday on like Tuesday. Genuinely, I was like, this is just a very, very weird week.
Lockdown, isn't it?
For granted.
What an end to the week, though, getting that news.
Yeah, it was great.
What an end.
So more to come on that next week. Just a little sneak preview. So looking forward then, can we just talk quickly about the waste management that's due to be happening? I'm so sad that it's not going to be in its full glory, because I think it's probably the greatest, other than the Ryder Cup, other than the Masters, it is the greatest thing in the golf calendar. I mean,
think?
Well, discuss.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Players at Sawgrass is up there, that par 3. But in terms of like crowd, crowd involvement, for sure. Yeah,
that's it, isn't it? It is literally all about the crowd involvement. I think I was reading online earlier. I think it's the most heavily attended event in the annual calendar. So it's something like 200,000 fans pile in on that Saturday. I think they get 700,000 across the whole thing.
Is it like purposely that they don't, that the crowd's supposed to be loud and all of that, and it's just one of those days that the crowd just gets way more heavily involved than all others?
Yeah, it's because they've set the stand up all the way around the par 3. So I don't think any other golf course you get that. It's all like the standing room, isn't it? I mean, I went to the Ryder Cup, like I said to you, in the first tee was buzzing, but there was probably only seating for, I don't know, maximum 1,000 people behind the first tee. Like, it was just a kind of relatively standard sized golf stand. That, with all of the refreshment vehicles and things that are kicking around that stadium, it's so good. I think it's so good.
Yeah.
When we went to the French Ryder Cup, Alex and I, she took me for a birthday present, and
that's awesome.
They do a similar thing at the Waste Management, which is like they open the doors at 5 a.m. or 5:30. And, everyone just like, it's chaos. Everyone runs to that par 3 to try and get a seat, because there's no tickets from what I can understand. And we did it at the Ryder Cup. I don't know if I've ever told you a story, but I got Alex up at 3:30 in the morning. We only flew into Paris at like 11:30, so we got 3 hours sleep. And we got a taxi all the way. It's even though it says it's like whatever the Paris course is, it's about an hour's drive out. Yeah, Golf National. It's about an hour's drive outside of Paris. And anyway, we got there. We were the second bus to arrive into the queue, and they were like 6 o'clock came. They opened the gates, and Alex, no, you don't get a map. You don't know where you're going. It was completely pitch black, and Alex just went, just go. Because the only thing I wanted to see was Rory bomb it off the first. So there's this rope and I was at the front, and then people started like, I looked down the line and people were like preparing in sprint positions.
Yeah.
And I looked at Alex and I was like, this is a race.
What, to get to the seats?
Yeah, because you're so far from the course. You're like right on the outskirts of the course and you have to go into the course. The rope dropped and I was like sprinting and I was like top 5 people in this queue. I looked back at Alex. She was just being consumed by the crowd.
So
and she was just like, go,
before we started this podcast, you said I ran my third ever 5K. So I refuse to believe your top 5 quickest Ryder Cup golf entrance.
Were you wearing your ankle high Gilbert rugby boots as well, just to make sure you had the right?
I actually had boots, jeans, and like 5 layers on because it was 2 degrees. Baltic. But Alex was like, just go. I'll catch you up. Anyway, I'm just running in the dark and people are just overtaking me. And it turns out it was well over a mile from the point where they dropped the rope. I got to this stand and I couldn't breathe for an hour. I thought I was going to throw up. It was just the worst. And Alex, the worst bit about it is I got one of the front rows in the stand and I sat down and I was like, right, you've got a break because Alex will be a while. I look round and Alex is just there and she's like looking around for me. I'm like, oh god damn it.
I had exactly the same thing at Glen Eagles. It was like people getting there in the pitch black, just trying to get to the first tee. I mean, we didn't get into the seating, but I just couldn't believe how much people line the fairway. So I'm using my hand, it's not helpful for people listening to a podcast, but obviously they kind of have the area around the tee box behind it. But then as soon as you kind of get maybe 25, 30 yards like down the fairway, the pinch in of the crowd was just absolutely wild. So like, say the fairway is 30 yards wide, people have probably given them 15 yards at the kind of 40, 50 yard mark. And I just thought, look, if someone, for whatever reason, maybe the fact they're playing in the Ryder Cup and gets nervous, absolutely thins one, someone is going to get hurt big time. But all the pros just didn't even blink twice.
I was just going to say on the Ryder Cup before we kind of move on. I don't know if you'd agree with me, SJ, but if I had my time again, if we went back to another Ryder Cup again, for example, the 3 of us or 4 of us, I wouldn't go for the stand because it's quite far away. I know it doesn't seem like it on telly, but you're quite far. You can't really see the players. I would much rather stand and be quite close to them to see like their ball trajectory. And
I was going to say, because I've never been to a golf event, which is something that I definitely want to do. How would you best get round a golf event? Do you pick a group, wander around 18 with them? Do you stay on a tee, or do you do a bit of a mix of both? I'd be interested to see what your thoughts were.
It's actually the worst. Like I'm a big advocate for not going to live golf events. It's more of a novelty. The reason I say it is you miss so much. You know, like you're with one group and then there's roars everywhere, and you're like, oh fuck's sake, I need to run around. And I mean, on TV you get a better viewing of more.
I tried both actually. I think a blend is probably necessary in all honesty, because so I, like SL, went to the first tee at Glen Eagles. It wasn't the tee box actually the stand around the tee box in a really good place, and so there was a huge buzz going on, and there were a few people that were all in fancy dress, and they'd actually made up songs for almost every one of the Euro players, loads of sledging of the American guys, which is all fun. But I did get a slightly similar vibe to Sam. I think it's probably exacerbated by the fact that it's a Ryder Cup and you've got play matches going on everywhere. But it was like, yes, big roar over there and here, and you kind of, you're never sure where to go next. So I did a blend. I followed Rory for a bit. And it was just awesome though, because you were like really seeing the whole match unfold. And there's those moments you have as an amateur golfer, if you're playing match play or whatever, where I guess it's like the shot selection, and they kind of, you're seeing how they're reacting to the other person, and like, the opposition, it's a great shot. Mm-hmm. And when you're playing against someone and they absolutely nail one, we all know that you just get that closing in feeling where you're like, shit, it's like, I really need to stick this on the green. And they were going through all of the same emotions, and it was kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
But overall, I think camp, if I did it again, I would go and sit somewhere load up with the refreshments and just kind of like soak it up and just watch everyone pass through and say you've seen all the golfers.
You've actually just reminded me totally of that feeling. So one thing that TV doesn't get is when they hit the shot, they follow the shot.
Yeah.
You don't really get to see the player or specifically the other player. Yeah. And that's what I loved is like when they hit a bomb, they know and they already start walking. Yeah. And the other player is sort of looking around or looking at his caddy, and that nervous sort of like
waiting for it to drop.
Hit a really good shot. Yeah, that you just reminded me actually. That's really cool to see.
Well, it wasn't obviously the Ryder Cup was unbelievable, but one of the things that stands out in my mind, and I actually saw it from probably 30, 40 yards away, if not further, was just like a par 3 15th, I think it was now. And they had a big stand behind the tee, Rory tees off, and it was getting towards the final straight. So everyone just started to like kind of follow the match because they're one of the last groups in. Yeah, so everyone's around the green. Rory McIlroy sunk a putt. Honestly, must have been 50 foot. 60 foot, and I just saw it from the distance away. You could kind of make out the ball, but you saw him like move his arms, do the swing, and then you just saw everyone go,
the crowd,
and then it goes in. It's like, yeah. It was unbelievable. I thought, I can't believe you sunk a putt from that far. It's the kind of thing I think if you gave me, I don't know, thousands of goes, I'd never do it. Done it in one, and he's just like that.
You know what? We have to go. We have to. I've just completely mindset change. Let's go. Let's stack up on beers because you lose your head, don't you? You lose all like normal characteristics of be within yourself, no shouting, no screaming. And suddenly you're like, oh my God, God, Rory.
Talking about golf events in general, I had a thought earlier this week to bring up on the pod. What would your walk-on song be at these sort of events? So you're walking out the Bedfordshire, you've got literally streams of people both sides, you're coming out the changing room, and like you're with your individually, what would your walk-on song be? What would you feel that you could hit up, settle down, dead silence, and then hit a bomb down the first over that tree?
So, I mean, I've got a few swirling around in my head, but the one that does just come to me, it's a bit cliche, but it's like Back in Black by AC/DC.
See, that is a great song. My one.
Yeah.
So that's funny because my choice was AC/DC Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
So same sort of
it's
vibe.
Just a big opening riff, isn't it?
Just a big opening riff. So, SL, are you going to join us on AC/DC? Have you got something completely different? Build me up.
No, I can't remember the song, but it would be a Justin Bieber song for sure. It would be
what?
I can't. Yeah, what's this Justin Bieber song with
Mistletoe?
Under the Mistletoe,
Baby.
Sorry,
I can't remember. It's a collab. Oh, mate, all these names.
Justin Bieber and
Driving me
Flo Rida.
Fucking mad. I can't remember.
The other one that's sort of coming to me now, and this is such a fun game. It might be Avicii Levels.
Absolute. That would just go off, wouldn't it?
Depends if you want that kind of like really gritty guitar riff, or whether you just want the waste management open, just euphoria.
Just out like...
Yeah.
I just think that would be like, I know that SL, when he approached the president and one of the board members at the club saying that we need to get something like this going at the Bedfordshire, like with like DJ on the decks, like lots of people, cart girls that he wanted, the whole of the above. So that
Beauty and the Beast, Beauty and the Beast, Justin Bieber, Beauty and the Beast, and Nicki Minaj.
There we go. He's back.
Yeah, that's
is that a genuine suggestion or what's going on?
Yeah, no, that would be it for me. I love that because the rap from Nicki in it.
Imagine us walking out
as a unique character.
Imagine us walking out as a 3-ball, 2 AC/DC songs, and then Beauty and the Beast come out behind.
Every time I think I know you, I learn something new every day. Like that, we have a podcast on Spotify, and you don't have a Spotify account, and also that your entry song would be "Beauty and the Beast" by Justin Bieber and Nicki Minaj.
What a song! Yeah. Were you just telling a story about good old president of Bedfordshire?
we were saying what you was mentioning about what should go on at the Bedfordshire.
What a story.
Were you not listening again in our podcast?
Sorry, no, I was searching for that song.
So
you make the best mini clips ever. Like,
so again, talking more about pros and like competitions. What do we think? This is a bit more golf related as well, about the rollback of the distance discussion. I know that's been, we can't really not discuss that this week, I think, because that has been major news in the golf world. What do we think?
Yeah, I'll take this one first. Rory. So I posted that of Rory. He is a absolute cult hero for me. Like he's so right. He's absolutely right. You know, just because Rory, Bryson, DJ hit it 350 yards, what do you think the average yardage at an amateur golf club is?
It's
like
like
off the drive.
It's like 190 or something, isn't it?
Yeah, 190, 200. You start limiting those guys.
Have you not seen it, SJ?
No, so I have, but I've got to be honest, I haven't gone fully into the detail. But the point I don't think I understood is that I think like the the RNN, the USPGA, they're looking at ways to kind of restrict the pros from going any further. I didn't think they were looking to restrict the clubs and golf balls of all of the amateurs.
So I think this is the thing that the discussion's been, because no one was quite sure. They spent they've done a report and they've spent millions basically analysing distance of the pros. And people like Rory are saying, why have they spent millions on that when millions could have been spent on grassroots stuff that could develop like further? Well, so that's what Rory's main point was. I think that there was a confusion over whether they were talking about just pros or whether they're talking about, so general golf balls have to not go as far, and that then includes everyone amateur. I'm not sure what the answer is there.
It's like advancing the technology, isn't it? And perhaps like putting restrictions or limiting technology.
And do you know what? This is hugely controversial, but so I'm a big fan of Rory, and I'm also, as you'll know from my love for the waste management, my acceptance of the golf hoodie, I'm all about getting people into the game, 100%. The risk is that I think they're trying to battle with, without being the boring one in this, is that there are a lot of kind of hundreds and hundreds of years old golf courses that are link style, that play like pretty short, that are like, you know, some of the par fours are 260 and that sort of thing. They're just trying to basically keep those courses in circulation, because if you get to the point where Bryson can hit a 7-iron 260 yards, it's going to kind of take that course off the roster. And some of those are like the absolute heritage courses. So I think for me, for those reasons, I kind of get it why they want to just keep a cap on the pros.
But do you not think there's other ways that I've, again, done a bit of reading on how they can do that? So you see like Bryson at the Masters absolutely fucked up. He could not hit the drive straight. He's trying to hit it as hard as he possibly can, and he's been found out. So I guess at those sort of courses, could they do something like grow the rough more, make the rough more completely impossible to play out of? So you're not trying to hit 260 yards, you have to hit 190 because that's the most accurate shot to hit. So it's kind of like, are there different ways of doing it, but without, I guess, putting big restrictions on equipment?
I'm sort of itching to speak here because
go on then.
Like it's a chicken and egg, isn't it? In that sense, you've got long drive champions and the long drive championship where those guys hit balls 450 yards, 420 carry. Why are they not on tour? You've got Bryson that can hit a 7-iron 220 yards. Why doesn't he win every week? You've got, you know, Charles Zach Johnson, who's one of the shortest players on tours. Yeah, he's won the Masters. So I think it's a balance. I think restricting the development of clubs and balls, if that's what this report is, you know, designed to do, is totally wrong. Because like my father-in-law is a really good example. He loves golf and he's really, really good at golf. He plays off 20, but probably the reason he gets a lot of the distance and, you know, the accuracy is because of the clubs that he plays with and the balls that he plays with. It definitely has a factor.
That's the point though, isn't it? That it's like, I'm not saying that you should restrict access to the clubs for the average golfer, but again, it's like golf is, I suppose, it's all a sport of relativity, isn't it? And what's happening is the pros there's like a widening of the spectrum of the ability of golfers, and whatever you do, it's only ever going to get that wider, because you can either say, so Brighton's bulking up and they're looking at clubs that are getting like longer and longer, sweeter and sweeter technology. So what's going to happen is every new course that's built now is going to be built longer and longer, which I do think you see, like the American Championship courses, they're all getting longer and longer. Take Woburn, you've got the Marquess, which is the longest, and then you've got the shorter, older ones. The issue is that the course will get longer to accommodate the fact that Bryce now hits it further. So you're then going to be an amateur golfer and you're going to always be playing on a different kind of course to the pros. So I think it's how do you try and keep everyone either playing on the same course or playing on the same equipment, but it's difficult to kind of keep the two together. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think they're looking at restricting going forward, or do you think they're looking at dialing back what they've got now? So are they going to go, right, for example, the new Titleist Pro V1 come out, they go, no, sorry, that goes too far. We're going to release a new ball that doesn't go as far. Or do you think they're looking at, okay, from now on, this is the gold standard. It can't go any further than this, or can't.
I mean, if they start restricting the distances in the balls, for me, that's mental. You know, if you're hitting range balls in play, that's just ridiculous. If it's more of like a regulation similar to F1 where drivers have to apply to a certain standard, so they can't go above a certain length of shaft, for example.
Yeah,
I can understand that, but again, you know, my opinion and basis on this is that yes, they can hit it and they'll play in a different area of the course, but they won't hit 70 or 68 consistent shots that are brilliant. You know, like there are so many par 4 courses or holes that
how do we know
260 yards. Well, how do I know that? Because Bryson doesn't win every week.
Yeah, but it's like the movement from wooden clubs to the clubs today. Like there's absolutely this is nothing about ability. It's like those clubs are more forgiving and go further, regardless of whoever uses them. That I think that's the issue, isn't it? Like, what's the next generation of the metal club? What if that just starts? Everyone hits it 300 yards. Then it's like all boats have risen, but now all the courses are a bit redundant.
I don't think that's possible.
Okay, yeah. So let me give you an example. Just speaking about my father-in-law again, he plays off 20. He hits his driver 2 to 220. I hit my driver 260 to 300.
Downhill with wind summer day.
He's beaten me for pretty much the last 4 years. The amount of times I'm beaten by a guy that hits a driver 150 yards, then duffs a 3-wood and then chips on and makes the putt for par. You know, it doesn't, for me, distance doesn't matter. It's all about ability and kind of, you know, consistency in the actual game. I think, and this is just my take on it. I do get where you're coming from, Sam, but I think with the kind of restricting of clubs and the development of clubs, it won't be good. You know, you like Rory said, you're kind of only affecting that very, very small proportion of the game. And someone like Bryson or Dustin Johnson, they don't win every week. They have off weeks. They have to be consistent. I mean, that's my take on it anyway.
Good discussion.
I was going to say exactly that. I think we need to throw this one out there. And then I was also going to use that to say that this week we put Kevin Yar or Kevin Na, perfect segue, onto the Instagram stories, and I lost the public vote. And every single one of them. Oh no, not every single one of them. People disagree with me. I was in the minority every time, and I
did think that's a good idea. I think what we'll do is, within 24 hours of the pod being released, which is when most people listen, we'll then put the polls on Insta, because it's interesting to see actually. But the rangefinders and the electric golf trolleys were literally a few votes swing, and we had over 50 votes on each. So yeah, SL, well done on calling.
You got so much slack for that from my friends. They phoned me and they're like, "Well, they talk about rangefinders. This is mad." Your opinions, but
we're entitled to our opinions and they're entitled to theirs.
I mean, after the standard of some of the videos you've been sharing with us on the WhatsApp group, those lads could have rangefinders coming out their ears. It's not going to sort that shot tracer out. Jeez Louise.
I've got some good, and I would urge anyone that listens to this, if you've got a video that wants to be shared, send it across, because 100%. Some friends have been sending some in and they're just they're gold.
Okay.
Can I just ask actually on that? Sorry, Ollie. When you send them in, can you just say whether you give us permission to tag that person and your account into the video? Because what I would love to do is just to start really kind of getting people revved up on the page, and just want to know if people are happy to name and shame their friends.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah,
I've got a few Kevin Nars or Kevin Yars while we're on that topic, as always.
We need an intro to Kevin Nar, Kevin Yar. We need to get him a jingle.
Maybe I'll drop him a message and see if you can record us a video. So,
Nice.
Kevin Na or Kevin Ya, which one are you? Maybe it should be one of us that sing.
mainly
Kevin,
for
na 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 na
Yeah.
Kevin,
Yeah. Boom. There's your record.
well, we'll get SJ on the mic. Okay, this one's actually mainly for SL and me because we all know where SJ stands on this one. So wedges off the green.
Wedges off the green.
So in a competition,
What?
In a competition,
Oh,
me and
this is
SJ were
ridiculous.
playing in. SJ hit the wrong green and took a wedge off the green to get it back onto our green. Now so that obviously means that he thinks that Kevin wedges off the green are Kevin Yar.
Disagree. Oh my gosh, this
What
is
did
knew
you
this could
do?
happen. Right, let me explain the story. Okay,
I haven't
so
heard this.
as Ollie said, on the 14th at our golf club, it is not too difficult to go and land on the 7th green. You got to tug it about 20 yards left, 15 yards left, which I did. And then we were playing in a match play against another two guys, and I was on the green. And to be honest with you, I think I'm much like the average golfer that's got like the RNA rulebook scrumpled up at the bottom of their bag, hasn't read it since they were 14, definitely doesn't know all the rules inside out. So I kind of looked at our playing partners, and we were new members. I thought, oh God, the worst thing you want to be is accused of cheating. So I was like, it's on the green. Like, can I have a drop? And they were like, don't know actually. Don't. I'm not sure. We're like, oh, okay. So I walk over to the green, and there's another four ball coming down the fairway on the 7th, and it's a mixed doubles competition, all with full like club clobber on. So you know when people are just like they're in a match and they're wearing all of the kind of the Bev Cheer stash, as are the other people. You're like, these are serious golfers, and so I'm like, really sorry. Do you know
But
if
not
I?
really.
Yeah, no, but I was like, do you know if can I get a drop off this green? Because it's technically a formal competition. Obviously, if we're just playing our normal Saturday round, I'd just move it off the green. But we were in a match play competition, like a formal thing. And they were like, I think you've got to play it actually. And I was like, what, off the green? And they were like, yeah, I think you've got to play it. So
And
I was
our
like-
partner, the guy we were playing with, was convinced. He was like, no, you have to play that.
yeah. And so I was like, sorry, you want to chip it off the green? They were like, yeah, you've got to do it. So obviously, being the good Samaritan I am, I just took out a wedge and just thinned it, like tried to blade it and like cut the ball in half off the green. Just fucking like thinned it out the back of the other green I was looking for, and we ended up making probably a double or whatever, triple.
So we know that SJ plays wedges off the green.
But yeah, ridiculous.
I mean, no, I would have just moved it. I wouldn't have even asked. But
yeah, I guess I think we must have been within like a month of joining one of our first competitions.
Yeah,
and I think we both weren't so sure. Obviously, I was pretty certain, but when there's 5 people telling you differently, you then have to.
Yeah,
they definitely.
there's a lot to be said for just being very confident. No, I'm gonna, like if someone said like that guy, I would guarantee had not a clue what he's talking about. But he's just being a difficult person. If you'd just been like, no, I'm, matched his kind of.
Did we lose or win in the end, Ollie?
I think it was one of the, it wasn't actually, I don't think it was match play, but it was a pairs competition, but I think they ended up beating us because we were awful, as always.
Kevin.
So many birdies in half the house.
No.
So playing off the green,
no.
Kevin,
nah. Okay, so interesting one. Patrick Reed.
I knew he was going to come up this
so
week.
I know he had
he'd
to come
be a
up.
bigger
So
feature, to be honest. But
I've got a story. I was in the car with Lids the other half the other day, and I was saying about what happened in the most recent scandal of him picking up dropping, and I said, "Oh yeah, there's this guy Patrick Reed. He's not very liked or something," and she just goes, "Is he the really fat annoying American?" And she knows nothing about like players, and that she knew straight away. That just shows like the general public opinion.
I didn't realize he got dropped by Nike as well.
Did
you see that? Yeah, he's for his apparel.
What for?
Because that I read a headline.
Well, no.
But he's not wearing
He's already been
Nike.
done for cheating once before.
Yeah, the sand. That was just ridiculous. He basically, like, for those that didn't see it, he placed his club behind the ball, and it was in like a bit of a divot, and the ball was in the middle of the divot, and he just moved the club back
away.
and moved the sand away. So he didn't. He had like a good swing at the ball. It was ridiculous. He did it about 2 or 3 times as well. He like did a big one. He's honestly. Oh, I've already had my rant today. I'm not even going to go into.
I'm with SL on this. The whole game is based on just integrity, and he is just the worst. Kevin Hughesnar.
Kevin Nah.
Yeah, Kevin. If anything about him, Kevin Nah. I don't care. Like anyone can come to me and say like, "Oh no, but he's one of my Kevin Nah." I don't care. I don't care. If I turn on golf and he's leading, it's off. I turn it off. Like it's just not worth it for me.
He's probably the most Kevin Nah thing in golf for me at the minute. Like
apart from Kevin Nah, but Kevin Nah's a bit Kevin Yar.
Well, Kevin Nah is Kevin Yar. Should really.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting just to see I knew all us three are definite Kevin Nahs, but that'll be an interesting one for the poll, because we got actually on the poll a few days ago about whether he's a cheat or misunderstood. We actually got about 35% saying misunderstood.
Yeah,
they're misunderstood. They misunderstand.
Do you know? I looked at those people. They're the same guys that voted for the rangefinder.
it all makes sense. It all makes sense.
But I mean, he is the definition of Marmite. But at 2 ends of the spectrum, some people really respect him and his like golf ability, he is good, like no doubt. But then if you don't like Patrick Reed, you absolutely hate Patrick Reed.
Yeah.
It's like if you like cheating, then you like Patrick Reed. But if you like common decency, if you like beating up grannies, you probably like Kevin Reed. But for all other purposes,
Kevin Reed.
Oh my God, I've had too many burpees. I'm just so angry. I can't even say his name properly.
Okay. We've been 6 Kevin Nahs so far. So let's try and see if we can get a Kevin Yar in here. Last one for this week. We've got novelty head covers.
Kevin Yar. Like
what?
Kevin Yar Torre. Kevin Yar.
See, I do like a novelty head cover. I just haven't found one that I love yet that I want to buy.
So I agree. And SJ, your dad sent you a picture the other day of about 10 novelty head covers, and I said, "Can I have one?" And you were like, "No."
Yeah, because I love them so much.
Oh! I thought it was like, no, I wouldn't. You know, you're not allowed to have that novelty head cover with us.
No. So of course you can have one. I've got the collection. I got a bit obsessed when I was about 14, 15. I think I got like 3 Looney Tunes ones that I got at a car boot sale or something. I've got like Bugs Bunny and Coyote and whatever. Eminem, as in the sweet, not the rapper. The real Slim Shady head cover. Also, what else have I got? Like, I've got a Superman one, which is a bit tragic. But
I need to have a look. Actually, I'm in the market. My head covers are completely shot, so I might have a little look. Actually,
what you need is like I've got it, and I'm the proud owner of like the most quintessentially English Sports Direct head cover that is just a tiger. Yeah, and it's a tiger, and it's got like a little dangly necklace. It's just got a number 1 on it. Like back from the days when you used to call your driver a 1 wood. Just amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
Well, that's the end of Kevin Yar this week.
Yeah, okay, that was a good one. I'm still a bit annoyed about old Patrick Reed.
Mate, I'm annoyed about the long drive restriction regulation thing. So,
gosh, it's got heated this week. It was inevitable, wasn't it? Fourth week in, everyone was going to get a bit gristly.
It was. Do we want to move on to some Insta questions?
Yeah, we got a lot, and I don't think we gave them enough time last week. So,
okay, so a couple of Insta questions. Got quite a few again, which is nice to see. I have to cherry pick a few. Okay, ACC Miller comes up quite often.
Andrew, lovely guy.
The ultimate what's in your bag, driver through to putter, cost no issue, or playing ability. So I'll go first because I probably had a little bit of time to think. So I'm going Titleist TSI 3 driver and 3 wood because they are a bit naughty. I'm then going to go TaylorMade P770 irons, which I think are very nice, but I wouldn't be able to hit them for anything. I'm then going to go Titleist Vokey SM8 wedges. And then I'm going to go for just the most expensive Scotty Cameron putter that I can possibly find on the internet.
Yeah.
That's me.
Nice. Go on,
yeah,
SL. You go.
Oh.
After you.
Okay, I'll go. The new Ping G3, 4, whatever driver and 3-wood. Again, TaylorMade P790s I'd probably go for, but black, matte black. Then I would also get TaylorMade wedges. I would go big on those, 56, well, 52, 56, 60. And then I would also, I'd probably go big Scotty as well.
Nice. SJ.
So I would go, having never actually hit it, but let's not let that be an issue. I'd go probably Sim, the new Sim. Just looks really cool from what I've seen. I kind of weirdly need to have matching driver 3-wood, so that kind of forced me into a Sim 3-wood as well.
Yeah.
And then I think I'd go for. I wanted to say the same TaylorMade as you, but there's also a really nice Titleist set out. So I just look them up so I get these right specific. It's the Titleist 620 MBs. I mean, they are the butteriest of the butter knives.
Wedges, no
Wedges,
different to yours at the moment then.
No, we said regardless of ability. So wedges, I'd stick with Vokeys, probably SM8s, like Ollie, and then I would go for I'd have to have it custom made, and it would be a 39.5-inch TaylorMade Spider putter.
Yeah,
I did see a jet black one the other day with like a shiny line just for the guideline on it.
That's
and I just thought, wow, like everything on it was black. And it was just, it was like a stealth putter. Well, the one thing I was just going to say, commitment from me, because if I ever did get the P790s jet black, I'd get iron covers.
And I'd immediately stop playing golf with you.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing.
We'd be recruiting. There'd be a vacancy in the Lazy Lobbers.
Apply now.
We've got a couple of really good ones here. So Will Wims.
Yes. Good man.
He's given us a few. I'll pick a couple. Okay. Foursomes versus Patrick Reed and DJ. Who do you pick as your lobber partner and why?
He knows there's 3 of us and he's trying to turn us against each other.
So I'm happy to go first here because someone's got to go first and disappoint someone. I'm going to go SL.
Oh, surprise.
And do you know why? Because there would be an 11 out of 10 chance that Sam Jackson SJ would be late, and I wouldn't want to be late to play against Patrick Reed and DJ. The second reason is because SL clearly hates Patrick Reed more than anyone else in the world, and to be playing that 18 holes, I just wouldn't want to miss it. And that is no testament to playing ability, because I think SJ's on better form, but there are my reasons why I'd pick SL.
I would give him shit in every aspect of the game, like walking down that, don't slip or do. Literally. Yeah.
Well, I'll be the bigger man here, and I won't choose the immediate petty response, but I would choose OP, and I'll choose OP because thus far we are round 3 of the Bedfordshire Golf Club Greensomes, competition, currently yet to even really look like we're going to lose. So we've got a groove partnership going that I wouldn't want to give up on.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'd also find it quite funny, just lastly, for my reason for SL, seeing him not buy Patrick Reed a pint in the clubhouse at the end would also be pretty funny.
Not even a bite. This has worked out quite nicely. So whoever put this question in to try and turn us all against each other,
can't do it.
Not worked. Do it. Jokes on you. I would choose SJ, and the only reason is the most constant last thing I can remember is when we last played with each other. He was ridiculously consistent. God knows how many points you got that day.
Thanks,
you held us up, which was quite a unique feeling. So So yeah, SJ.
God, we're such good friends, aren't we?
Yeah, I love you both.
Unlucky Wims.
Unlucky. We're going to do another one from Will Wims, actually, because I quite like this one. Would you prefer to thin one to 15 feet or pure one, but end up 15 yards short because you got your club selection wrong?
I'm glad you brought this up.
Such a good question.
Do you want to go SL or
No.
I
just
would
love the question.
Yeah, I do as well. I would rather be short and have absolutely flushed one.
So I'm opposite. I would much like the feeling that I feel when I thin one and it ends up 15 yards just off the pin. I'm so happy with myself because it's like you've got so lucky. Whereas if you've just hit one, you're like, I get a bit annoyed that the reason why something's gone wrong is my club selection. Whereas if I thin one, I feel like I've had a bit of a lucky break and I feel quite good about it.
I mean, I would respond to that and say it's easier to learn to take the right club than it is to stop thinning it. So that would be kind of partly my rationale.
Yeah. SL?
You're mad, OP. Flashing it every day of the week. Because also, when I've lost to these guys that are playing off 24 and I'm giving them, so many shots, that's what they do. They thin a 3-wood, which I didn't even think was possible. You thin a 3-wood across the ground, it ends up within 2 feet and they're birdieing and I'm giving them a shot on the hole. And I'm just like, flush a 5-iron. That's never happened actually. Flush an 8-iron and I'm short for 5. But I still feel like the bigger man.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
ultimately what I'm saying.
Agreed.
But
fair enough. I was more on my own feelings when I've actually hit one and I've thinned it. I thought I fucked this up so badly and it lands 15 foot from the pin. I feel so happy with myself.
Do you not feel like I feel embarrassed? Because
that's probably me, isn't it? El Cockroach.
El Rocho is you never can keep this man down.
That's true. Okay. It can't be a questionnaire without Banks HC17.
Here he is.
Bermuda.
Shorts on the tour. Shorts on the tour for the pros. Yar or nah? Semi Kevin Na, yeah, but
yes.
I like shorts on a golf course.
Yeah. This is actually, I don't know why I'm going to say this, but when they introduced the shorts into the training rounds, have you seen Kevin Rahm? Kevin Rahm.
I love this. We're just calling everyone Kevin. Kevin DeChambeau.
John Rahm's right leg. Have you seen his calf? He's I can't remember what he said it happened. I think he's got like a very small deformity in his muscle. So his right calf is almost just like bone.
Oh, really?
So his left calf is just ridiculously hulkish. It's massive, like his build. And then his right calf is kind of quite slender. They've all got skinny little legs, haven't they, these golfers?
I personally get
200 kegs.
I get super warm most of the time anyway, but especially when I'm playing golf. And it was always kind of weird. It's slightly weird and torturous. It's like all the pros going out in 32-degree heat and having to wear trousers. Like, for what benefit is that at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Last one. Zach Mills Fitness.
Ah, good man.
5-foot putt to win the Masters. Who's sinking it and who's bottling it? And he's put in brackets SJ.
Ooh.
So
I mean, look, yeah. I'm just going to make this easy for everyone. It's hard. It's hard to see me doing anything other than missing it after our perfect practice putting mat tournament the other week. So I'm okay to say it's probably not me. It's Ollie. I know that you've started getting better now. You've got the super stroke on, and you were the perfect practice tournament winner. But I struggle to look beyond SL when it comes to clutch. SL is the man, frankly.
I'd bow out of this immediately. I would bow out straight away. My current form, I've gone back to my Nike putter. That's how desperate I am.
That is quite desperate, isn't it? I was going to agree with SJ and say that I'd back SL and I probably wouldn't back myself because I get the biggest knee wobble over like a 2-foot putt, let alone a 5-foot putt. I honestly look like I'm glitching when I'm about to have a putt.
I mean,
imagine that feeling. I'm actually sort of starting to quiver a little bit, just imagining what it would be like. The crowds, you've got a 5-foot putt to win the Masters. Oh,
I've got one pal. I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning. Guy called Jack Goldwater. I've never known anyone cope with pressure that's not a professional. Cope with pressure quite like this guy. Like he actually thrives off it. The more intense situation, the better he gets, and it's actually quite remarkable. Reckon it saves him 3 or 4 shots around.
Wow,
That's
annoying.
Impressive, that, isn't it?
It's annoying.
Okay, well, we've got a lot more to go through, but they'll go into the archive for another time because I think we got through some good ones there.
Cool.
But-
Well, that's pretty much us for time, isn't it? It's been
It's been a good
another
one.
week that's absolutely flown by.
I've enjoyed the slightly more serious topics with the clashing of views on a few things. It's been quite a good discussion points.
I mean, I noted that as per usual, you sat on the fence with most of those. But
I haven't sat on the fence.
Oh,
bit
of a nibble.
yeah, but I still love you both. So we're still brothers, aren't we? It's fine.
We're here to hold the debate for the nation. That's what we're here to do. So it's totally okay.
Not broken.
Just gonna go home and cry now.
Can we just say one thing?
You are home.
One thing that would be really
Or am I?
really good for some people is on the Apple Podcasts if they could subscribe and leave a rating, because I think that would really help us. And I think hopefully if you're enjoying it, whack it on.
Look, guys.
Yeah.
If you can be anything, be kind. So give us 5 stars.
Yeah, I'd just add to that as well.
Don't be tight.
Give us 5 stars. Remember, there's only 3 of us, so you could be joining us on our next golf trip abroad. Ooh. Or in the UK with
At the
direct
Bedfordshire.
golf travel. Yeah, it's definitely the Bedfordshire, isn't it?
You will have to pay your own green fee as well. That's fine.
Yeah, but very good value. £24 on a Saturday.
Okay, well, look, thanks everyone for listening. That brings us to the end of season 1, episode 4, take 1 of Confessions of an Average Golfer by the Lazy Lobbers. See you next time.
Cheers, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Do, 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 do.